Are you ready? Hello everybody and welcome back to sencast 21. I'm here with my partner Dan. Say hello, Dan.
Hello peeps, this is the Iceman.
Yep, and I'm going to Dan to have him talk about what we're gonna do this cast, so I will turn it over to him now.
Alright, last episode we ended with the top 100 of the NFL, and we were at number 76, Carl Nix, and we just finished him up, talking about him, the best guard in the NFL in my opinion, and too bad the Lions don't have someone like him.
Yep.
Alright, and on to number 75. In my opinion, the greatest tight end in the NFL. The reason why he is the greatest is because the other guy who is really better than him is getting up too old, and he's getting up there, and he won't be playing much longer. So I think that just Jason Witten is at his best right now.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And Antonio Gonzalez, I don't think is in his prime right now anymore. I mean, he's still great and possibly one of the best in the league. I mean, he is one of the best in the league, but he's second best in my opinion to Jason Witten.
Yep, Jason Witten's stats for this last year were 79 receptions, 942 yards. The average yardage per reception was 11.9, and he had 5 touchdowns.
Alright.
So whatever that, those are pretty good stats for a tight end after all, I mean.
That's right. Okay, and the only reason why I don't say that Graham or, I'm drawing a blank here. What's the tight end for Patriots called?
Patriots, Gronkowski or something like that?
Yeah, the Gronk.
Yep.
I think that they're not completely proven yet. I think you have to, for someone to be completely proven that they're great, you have to see them for more than one season, and they only had one great season, so.
I would agree with that. I think Witten is slightly underrated, though. At 75, I think he should be at least, like, in the top 60, probably.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, and yeah, I think he definitely should be higher rated than the next guy.
Yes, I do too. I will take this guy. We do this. This guy is the quarterback for your Baltimore Ravens, if you're watching in Baltimore, or a fan of them. Number 74, Joe Flacco. Flacco had an okay year. He wasn't great. He had, his stats for this last year were 20 TDs, 12 interceptions, 3,610 yards, and a passer rating of 80.9. So if you look at that, I definitely don't think he's 74. I think he should have been lower than that. I think he should have probably been around the mid-80s probably. He's not that good of quarterback, in my opinion. I think this poll is sort of rated on what he did, like, his rookie season and stuff. Because, like, his rookie season was pretty good, but, like...
Yeah, I think it's also, like we've said before, top 100's based on what the other players have rated, the rest of the players, so they don't just judge based on statistics, because a lot of them may not keep up with statistics. They just judge on what players take their teams to the playoffs and stuff. And we all know that it's a big possibility that the defense of Baltimore Ravens has taken them, has carried them to the playoffs multiple times. But I think that just because, that's one factor that made him as high as he is, that he was he took his team to the playoffs. Not so much as carried, and there is a difference.
Yeah.
We all know defense carried them, but because even in the playoff games that he played in, they weren't really that high scoring.
Yeah.
Well, the Texas game was, but I mean, let's face it, the Texans had they were playing with their third string quarterback, which was a rookie, and the Texans defense isn't the best defense in the league. So
no, it's not. Sorry to say, but
yeah, they have a great defense.
Yeah.
But they're top 10 probably, I would say, but I wouldn't say they're in the top 5. So I think that, especially with the Ravens running game, whenever what's his name?
Rice.
Yeah, whenever Rice gets so many yards, I've heard this statistic so many times before. Whenever he gets so many yards, Joe Flacco has a great game. So it's just like one of those things where, play action, the play action thing. Everybody who's a football fan out there knows.
Yeah, play action. I mean, you have to keep them in balance, but
right. So anyway, moving on to one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. I think he's he could be slightly underrated, but I think he's at a good spot.
Yeah, I do too. I think he's perfect where he is.
I'm satisfied with where he is. Yeah, so he's a good cornerback, and he wasn't even on this list last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know what else much to say. I know Jonathan Joseph was pretty highly rated on Madden. That's pretty much all I know.
Jonathan Joseph, if those who don't know the name, is a cornerback for the Houston Texans. His stats last year were he had 44 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 4 interceptions. So an okay year for a defensive back. He's 28 years old. That's basically all, because there's not really. I don't think he's like a shutdown corner, but he's more of like a, I'm drawing a break.
Zone.
Yeah, like a zone corner. He's not really a shutdown type of guy that will get a lot of interceptions,
Mhm. Yeah. Alright. Moving on. We don't know much more about the Texans besides the fact that they just had a really awesome year last year.
Yep.
Okay.
The next guy on the list, as Lions fans, I think you and me can both say we get to see this guy a lot. He's a linebacker. He's number 55 from the Chicago Bears, Lance Briggs. He, as a linebacker, I think he is
underrated.
Definitely underrated because he's in Urlacher's shadow all the time, in Chicago. I think if he were let's say with the Lions, he would be the star linebacker with the Lions, and he wouldn't be in that shadow of a big, great linebacker,
Yeah, and he did move up. Last year he was 92. This year he moved up 20 spots, so.
Yep. So, his stats for this last season were 105 tackles, 0 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. An okay year for a linebacker, I guess.
Yep. Okay, moving on, because I don't like the Bears, and we just, don't have it forever. I think really underrated. I think really the big reason why he didn't have a great year is because it's just the whole team was just, it's just bad luck. I don't know. Nobody really knows what happened to the Eagles this year.
Is the dream team, you mean?
Yeah, the quote-unquote dream team. But anyway, Deshaun Jackson is who we're talking about. Last year he was number 29 on the list, and this year he moved all the way down 71.
I think part of the reason why he moved down to 71 is because he held out for so long, you know.
Yeah, that was what I was trying to think of. I couldn't think of the phrase, but it was a big problem. He held out. Even after he held out, there was still, you know, like problems with the coaching and stuff. Like they just, you know, it was when you don't like playing for a team, you're not going to play as well. You know?
Yeah, you're not going to give it your all if you don't like the coach, per se.
I just don't think he liked how it went down. Whether or not it was the coach's fault, you know,
or the front office's fault, or
right, the owner's fault, whatever.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson's stats for last year. It was a relatively short year for Deshaun because he held out a little bit. He had 58 receptions for 961 yards. The average of those receptions were 16.6 yards, and he had 4 TDs. So if you look at those numbers, you see he's more of a type of player that is explosive.
Yeah, from the plays that he did get, they were. I mean, he made a lot of plays. 16 yards. That's a pretty good average.
Yeah, he is a small receiver that people wouldn't think that would be able to make it in the NFL. He's 5'10".
Wes Welker-like guy.
Yeah, and he's fast. I mean, he is fast. So he's more of an explosive type receiver rather than like a big catch receiver.
Yeah, one of the reasons why he's such a great returner. In my opinion, the reason why he was so high up last year was because of his great returns. He won a game just. I mean, he made a last second play to win the game with a punt return. So.
Yeah.
That was like everybody remembers that as like one the top 5 best plays of the whole entire season. So. Yeah. I mean for the 2010 season.
It wasn't against the Giants.
Yeah. Yeah, I was very upset about that game.
For those who don't know, the Giants is like his second favorite team. So.
Yeah. Alright, so anyway, Eli Manning's finally out of his brother's shadow.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah. Okay, next up on the list is another Philadelphia Eagle for all those people out there who love the Eagles. I'm a fan of the Eagles. The only reason why I don't like them is because it's such a big competition with Giants and the Cowboys. I love all 3 teams, but it just sucks that they're all in the same division. So,
yeah, that division's loaded, though.
Yeah, it is. That's why I love all 3 teams. It's hard to choose between the 3 of them, but for some reason I just don't have trouble with choosing the Giants. Anyway.
Yeah.
Carlos, Michael Vick, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, Michael Vick, yep, from the Eagles. So back-to-back Eagles players. 71 and 70, I think. Yep. His stats, as you all know, Michael Vick is a scrambling type of quarterback. He's not really a pocket presence quarterback that you... When
he tries to be, he gets hurt. As you saw last season.
Yeah, he needs to run in the pocket because he doesn't have the physical attributes to be a pocket passer.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that pocket presence either.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can move around the pocket without totally running out of it, and he's just not. I just don't think he's that great at doing that. And keeping his eyes downfield.
Yeah. His stats for last season, he played in 13 games. He threw for 18 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, 3,303 yards, and a passer rating of 84.9. So, like we said, he can't stand in the pocket for too long. He doesn't have that pocket awareness or anything. He's better throwing on the run, getting the defenders, like, collapsing on him. Because when Michael Vick's running, you see cornerbacks and linebackers going off their assignments because Vic is such a threat to run the ball.
Yeah. And it's, like, funny because he's getting old, too, and he still, like, hasn't really lost any of his... I mean, he's in his 30s. And most running backs at his age, like, yeah.
Yeah. They're done.
Let's just say that there aren't any.
Well, there's a reason why the saying in the NFL nowadays is, you draft a running back for 5 years, use them, and get rid of them. So.
Mm-hmm. Right. Unless they're, like, you know, really special, like Adrian Peterson.
Well, we can't even guarantee he will be around for too much longer.
Right.
I mean, he's special, but he did get hurt last season after all.
Right, it just depends on next season.
Yep.
Okay. So, moving on to someone who I think is still underrated at a really great number. For all those people out there, wink wink, 69. Carlos Rogers, 49ers.
Yep.
Last year he wasn't even on the list. That's why I say he's underrated. I mean, just his name, Carlos Rogers. It just sounds like a name that you just hear that name a lot. I don't know.
Like Rogers is like one of the most common last names in the NFL for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess you're right. So, but Carlos Rogers, he's just a really great cornerback, and he's underrated. But I think, it's kind of funny that the 49ers and his number is 69. I don't know. Okay.
Oh my God. His stats for the last season, he had 43 tackles, zero sacks, 0 forced fumbles, and 6 interceptions, which is very good for a cornerback. Because they're not always going to be involved on every single play, you know.
Yeah. So he did really good for... Yeah, he was a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
Alright, so next player was, I believe he's a linebacker. It says defensive end, but I think it's linebacker.
End, but let me just check on... Because for those who don't know, a little behind the scenes look, I look up the player stats. I'm not this encyclopedia of every number in the book, you know. I don't memorize every player in the stats.
Yeah,
I mean,
that would be cool. It'd be like...
Hey, I would automatically have a job if I could do that fast. I mean, but, yeah.
Right. I would envy him very much. So I think he's a linebacker.
The NFL.com also, I mean, even though it's still the same website, they also have listed as defensive end.
Okay.
And in all reality, I'm looking at his numbers right now, and they look like defensive end numbers.
Yeah, so I think that the Broncos must be a 4-3 defense.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think they are. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So he's a defensive end. He's a good defensive end. And one of the reasons why, in a lot of people's opinions, that the Broncos were so successful last year. Underrated. Not a lot of people talk about him.
Yeah, I would say underrated too.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of the least talked about defensive ends, you know.
Yeah, I think he's not so much underrated on the list, but I mean just underrated like overall.
Yeah. So let's get to the name here, Elvis Dumervil, or however you pronounce it.
Elvis Dumervil. Yeah.
Dumervil, whatever. Sorry, Dumervil, whatever.
Dumervil.
Yes, but his numbers for this past season, he had 42 tackles, 9.5 sacks, and 0 forced fumbles and 0 interceptions. He only played in 14 games, so he got hurt more than likely, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He is a pretty good defensive end. He's no offense to Denver, it's not exactly like a big market. Like if he played in like New England or something,
mm-hmm.
he would get so much more hype towards him.
Well, yeah, I think that's the case with any player that plays in Patriots.
the Patriots were always a big-time team, man. I mean,
Yeah.
nowadays they are, but
Yeah.
they were like the Lions for a while, so.
Yeah. Okay. So, a position that's highly underrated in the NFL, offensive tackle, Joe Staley is number 67. In my opinion, Joe Staley helped out the 49ers quarterback. You want to help me out? What's his name?
God, jeez. I know his name.
It's pretty easy to forget.
Yes, it is. He's not really a big-time quarterback, but, shit.
But I think...
Right, hold on.
Yeah, anyway, Joe Staley is, in my opinion, one of the reasons why that quarterback did so well, because he gave him a lot of time in the pocket. The plays he did make, he could be standing there for a while.
Yeah. The quarterback's name for the 49ers was Alex Smith.
Yep. Alex Smith, I think, had a breakout year this year. A lot of people said he was, wasn't going to make it, and some say that he still isn't going to make it. It just depends on this next season.
I don't think he will, but that's a discussion for another time.
Right. So anyway, that's all we can really say.
Fun fact for Joe Stanley, he's from Michigan, and he played at Central Michigan. Fun fact.
Cool. Alright, so, yeah. So next player on the list, number 66. 666.
No. Evil number. I mean, come on, man.
Well, it's an evil man at safety. One of the best safeties in the league. Wasn't even rated last year. I think safety is like the left tackle or the offensive tackle of the defense.
Yeah, it's one of the more overlooked positions.
Right.
Because they don't really necessarily cover anyone,
Yeah, it's more like all the time, deep.
Yeah, it's like deep. It's like the last line of defense for a defense.
Right.
So this guy is from Seattle. He's number 29. Earl Thomas. This was his third season in the NFL. He had 98 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 2 interceptions. 98 tackles for a safety, I think, in my opinion, is pretty good, because they're not always on,
right.
farther, It's like the last line of defense. So, but the Seattle defense isn't that good, though, It's like...
Well, actually, I think the success that they did have was all because of their defense. I think their offense, except for, I think his name, Marshawn Lynch, I think, he was their whole offense. Like he was the only person who made any good plays on that whole entire team.
Yeah, but, it's like saying, on the 0-16 line teams, their defense was their best asset, You can't necessarily say that.
Well, they're not on 16 lines, though.
Yeah, I know, but, I'm just saying,
I get your point, but...
I mean, if you have a horrible offense and a bad defense...
Well, the defense isn't that bad. A lot of people say that their defense is pretty decent. They just really need to work on their offense and possibly a new coach.
No, I think Pete Carroll is doing fine there. After all, they did make the playoffs in his first year there.
Yeah, with Matt Hasselbeck, and then he gave him away and took nobody quarterbacks that nobody even knows or cares about.
You can definitely say it definitely was part of Pete Carroll's decision, but you can't say that he made the final decision because
that's a good point.
It's the GM. As a Detroit Lions fan myself, I've been partnered with the worst GM in NFL history, but
right. Yeah, that's a good point.
So,
Okay. Moving on. Third, in my opinion, let's say, Let's say third best playmaking wide receiver in the league, I think. Roddy White, 65 on the list. Last year he was number 24. He dropped quite a bit. I think that was partially due to the fact that the team that he played for, Atlanta Falcons, who traded their entire draft for the next 3 years just to get one player.
For Julio Jones.
Right.
The Joneser.
And they tried too hard to get the ball to him, and he was a rookie. He was great, but they just tried to give the ball to him too much. And Roddy White's a great receiver that they should have given it to more.
The Atlanta Falcons offense overall this year underperformed, I think.
They did because of the fact that they tried to throw the ball too much. And then when they did throw the ball, I think this is the coach's fault. I don't think it's the quarterbacks, because they had a great season the year before, and they have one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history, if not the greatest, Yeah. So, it's hard to say that I just think that they just didn't have, the coach just made some bad decisions in a lot of the games. It took them till late season to figure out, okay, we need to go back to what we were doing last season. We were successful at it. We shouldn't have never changed.
Yeah, I would agree with that. His stats for this past year, Roddy White, he had 100 receptions for I think a lot of yards for 100 receptions, 1,296 yards.
Wow.
The average yards was 13 yards per catch and 8 TDs. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty darn good year. I'm looking at the yards wise, of course.
Yeah, I think that's partially due. That's just due to his playmaking ability. How many receptions did he get?
100 receptions.
Yeah, that's a lot of receptions, but I still think that they didn't throw the ball to him enough.
Yeah. The next player on our list is a New England Patriot. Lucky him, right? He's number 64.
He moved way down.
Yeah.
He was 39 last year.
He was. Logan Mankins. I love that last name. Logan Mankins.
Because he's a man, and he loves kittens. I don't know.
So there's not a lot of stats about offensive guards and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's pretty good. I mean, he protected Brady pretty well.
Yeah. Let's just look at the facts that Tom Brady hasn't been injured in, 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah, he had that injury, a couple of years ago.
But was it for a whole season?
I think it was the, arm injury or whatever. Anyways, I don't know what this do for Brady's argument or whatever, but, New England did make the playoffs that year with a backup quarterback.
Right, so there you go. Logan Mankins, great player. Moving on. Representing our hometown, Saginaw, Michigan.
And representing the University of Michigan.
And in other words, for Saginaw, Michigan, Sag Nasty.
Yes, very true.
Lamar Woodley. Because he's full of wood.
Oh, definitely, dude. He's definitely full of wood. Definitely. I mean, you can't get any more fuller of wood than he is. I mean...
Because Lamar has a Woodley. Alright.
Yes.
Enough said. No, I'm just kidding. Moving on. No.
But anyways, I will let you do your opinions on him first, but...
if I did like the Steelers, the only reason why I would like the Steelers That's all I have to
Those
say.
are some pretty harsh words there for Steeler Nation, man. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just that, in case any of you Steeler fans didn't know for some odd reason, because if you are a Steeler fan, you should know, because this is the only reason why your team even has ever had success in all of NFL history. It's because of Detroit Lions, curse of Bobby Lane.
it definitely, dude. Yep, definitely.
I mean, just look at the facts. Okay, since the curse of Bobby Lane ended, has the Steelers won any more championships? They went to two. They went to two They went to two Super Bowls in 3 years, and they didn't win either one. So, on that note, you can go ahead and go with stats if you want.
Okay, his stats for Lamar Woodley, he had 39 tackles, 9 sacks, 0 forced fumbles, and 1 lonely interception as a linebacker. I can say as a University of Michigan fan, I got to watch him while he was at Michigan. He was a staple of their defense while he was at Michigan. I can't praise this guy enough. He still supports Michigan. On Facebook and stuff. I follow him on Facebook, like the fan page or whatever you want.
Yeah, man, he's insane. He even has his own summer camp for Saginaw.
Yep. He loves Michigan.
Yeah, my cousin went to it last year, and he wanted to go to it this year, but he just something happened. I don't know. His mom was like really bad and terrible.
Yeah, but Lamar really loves his home state. You can tell. I mean,
not just his home state. He's stuck with his home city too. That's what impresses me, because Sagnasty isn't anything to be proud of.
It used to be something to be proud of, if that counts for anything at all.
Yeah. Back when it wasn't nasty.
Exactly.
Alright, moving on. Justin Tuck.
Yes, number...
oh my gosh, he moved up so much. Or moved down. He moved down so much. I mean, look at this. I mean, there's so many guys who weren't even on the list the year before, and this guy just moved down 2 spots.
Yes, he did.
Right, so,
defensive end, by the way, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah, not much more to say about Justin Tuck besides the fact of, just one word, dominant.
Yes, I would say the staple of that defense. I mean,
right.
He's one of the main reasons the Giants went to the Super Bowl.
Well, for a lot of the season, I don't think he played, but, which is one of the reasons why, Uminyora, or, that other defensive end.
This season, Tuck played in 12 games, though.
OCU Manure.
Yeah, I know who. Yep.
So, Justin Tuck, I think, he's not so much as a staple, but he's a leader. Yep, he's a captain. He's I guess, staple could be. I think staple is that word. Like, it's partially leadership.
Yeah.
One part of being a staple, so.
Yeah, looking at his stats, for only playing in 12 games, he has pretty good numbers, I would say. He has 37 tackles, 5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. For only playing in 12 games, I would say that's pretty darn good. So.
Yeah. Impressive.
Exactly.
So,
Our next player on this list, he dropped considerably from number 26 in 2011, and he's now number 61 in 2012. And I
still think he's overrated.
I say maybe. It depends. Let's see what this season brings to him.
Last year he had the most, I think he had the most interceptions in the NFL. If he didn't at the end of the season, at one point he did.
I think he did, looking at his stats, but I will get to those stats in a second.
Yeah, in just the first, like, I think it was like, I don't know, I think he got halfway through the season, he already had 16 interceptions.
Yeah. He's the quarterback of the San Diego Chargers. If that didn't give it away, I don't know what will. Phillip Rivers. I will get to his stats right now. He had 27 touchdowns, 20 interceptions, 4,624 yards for a passer rating of 88.7. So, if you look at those stats, the interceptions are horrible. 20 interceptions, I mean, anytime you're turning the ball over that much, you're gonna have issues.
Not only that, but they had this awesome, oh my god. I watched it. It was about to go in overtime or something that might have gone into overtime already. It was one of the best games of the season. I loved it. I was like so into it. And then all of a sudden, he fumbles the snap.
Well,
and he was only, all they needed was a field goal to win the game. And he was 15, 20 yards away. They were going to run the ball. And he fumbled the snap.
Oh, you can't blame that all on the quarterback. It might have been the center's fault a little bit too.
They showed it and they replayed it in slow motion.
Slow motion.
He literally dropped the ball.
So okay, I did not see that, but I don't watch every NFL game, so I.
No pun intended. He dropped the ball.
Yes, he did.
Okay, so anyways,
pocket passer, by the way, for those who are wondering.
I love Phillip Rivers. I really liked him going into the season. I could have gotten him in fantasy football if I didn't want Matthew Stafford and think that he was going to be a huge playmaker.
Oh, look at you!
Yeah, I won my fantasy football.
I just gave up after 3 weeks, and I was like, "Fuck this."
It's like, you knew I was going to win. It was inevitable.
I was like, Stafford's performing too well, I'm out.
Alright, so anyway. By the way, if anyone wants us to keep you up on this season of NFL on our fantasy, just let us know, leave a comment. We could do it anyway, but I think we'll just leave it up to you. Anyone that wants to comment, go ahead, leave us a comment on this video.
Or Twitter us. We forgot to plug ourselves. Shameless self-plug here.
Well, we'll plug ourselves at the end. We need to get through this. We're not even halfway through. We're already 30 minutes in.
Good point. It's going faster than the last time, though, I think.
Yep. All right. So Phillip Rivers, awesome player. But just like last season, he was.
I think something that.
I think he's worse than Tim Tebow.
I think he really needs to reach the Super Bowl per se. You know. I think he needs that ring.
Yeah.
You know?
He needs some. He needs another great season to inspire him.
Yep.
I think the only other team besides the Steelers that I'd like to face the Lions in the Super Bowl would be the Chargers, because I just love that team.
And I just love how we whooped on them last year. Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, Justin can tell you that before the Lions were great on Madden, which they are last year and this year, and the year before, but on 2009, 2010, 2010. Yeah, Madden 2010. The Chargers were the team that I always use. So
yes.
This is my best team. So anyway, moving on. I think that if this player wouldn't have got injured about halfway through the season, I think he would have been the greatest running back in the NFL. Higher than AP. I think that he would have beat records. I mean, he had an incredible season for as far as he got in.
Yeah, he had an incredible season before he got injured.
Right, he was the number one running back on fantasy football.
He was clearly amazing. Watching him in college, I'm more of a college football fan, as Dan can probably tell you.
Yeah.
Watching him in college, I just had this sense that Darren McFadden would become a really good running back in the NFL.
Right. He's awesome. He just, like, I've never been a fan of Oakland, but when I saw him run, last season, I was, like, in awe. The number one, in case some people out there don't watch NFL Net or NFL Network on cable TV, they have this thing on commercials sometimes. It's the top 10 plays of the NFL last year throughout the whole entire season. And he had one play where he ran all the way down the field, and he was the number one play in the whole season.
Yep.
And that's impressive considering that one guy from the Bengals, when he did that front flip into the end zone.
I love that play.
Yeah,
I remember watching that, and like how they interfered, how to bring you a scoring update in the broadcast.
Yeah.
Like the people in the studios were like, oh.
Yeah. I was just like bugging out. I watched that so many times. I showed everyone that I knew that might even watch it. I got friends that don't even watch football, and I showed them that, and they were just like, "Oh my gosh!"
I know it was an amazing play, but McFadden sacks, because I've been looking at him and I'm all inspired by him.
Yeah.
He only had 113 carries in 7 games. Now, note you, 7 games, 614 yards.
Wow.
And the average was 5.4 yards per carry and 4 TDs.
That's pretty impressive.
The stat that just popped out of the screen is that 614 yards only in 7 games. I mean,
yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so, he, if he wouldn't have got injured, he probably, could have, I think he would have gotten 1,500, probably around there. He was, he was just getting warmed up, so I think he would have gotten even better as the season progressed.
Yep, I would agree with that. I think my lucky stars, the Lions, didn't have to face him.
Yeah, actually we did.
No, we faced...
we faced Oakland, but he wasn't on them at the time.
Yeah, he was injured.
Right, so, but, especially, since Carson Palmer went to, Oakland, if Darren McFadden would have been, healthy when they bought him, I think it would have been, Tim Tebow wouldn't have been in the playoffs, let's just say that.
I don't think so either. I think Oakland would have clearly made the playoffs and may have knocked the Lions out of the playoffs. The game, them from playoff contention.
I just want to say this: the game that we got into the playoffs with was against Oakland, and the last
against San Diego, dude.
Yeah. Wait, what?
It was because it was against San Diego. It was on Christmas Eve.
Oh.
It was against Oakland, but we needed that game anyways. Because
I think it was the week before, though.
Because if we would have lost to Oakland and then won in San Diego and then lost in Green Bay, we would have been out of the playoffs.
Right. So anyway, so in case we didn't say that, the team we're talking about, this our team, is Lions. So, really under. I think it's too bad.
It's bad he got injured. I think for getting injured, 60 is really high on the list.
Right.
Only playing in 7 games. Okay.
Yep. Moving on. Left tackle Jake Long.
Yeah, out Michigan again, boy.
Yep. And once again, he is in Florida. So that's weird. But anyway, 2011 rating, he was 28th.
By the way, interesting fact, he was the number 1 pick, too.
Yep, and he's number 59, in my opinion. He's the best offensive tackle in the league. Okay, that's it. Number
I have some input here, but
okay.
If you slow your roll.
It's an offensive tackle.
I just want to talk about. Okay, but Jake Long, okay, he excels. He's not really he's a good pass blocker, but he excels in the run blocking. Because, well, I was watching him at Michigan. He had Mike Hart behind, even though Mike Hart is a no one now, but anyways. He had Mike Hart behind him, and he would just go and block the defensive end so easily, or whoever it was, and the Hart would just scamper through the hole, and it was like a touchdown, like 80% of the time.
Right.
He was that good, and he still's performing at that level of play, which is remarkable. Transferring from college to pros, you usually don't see offensive tackles performing that well.
It's just too bad the Dolphins don't have any great running backs that are just runners, you know?
Bush is starting to get better, I think.
Yeah.
Shadow breakout here.
I think he's still better as a passing running back.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that.
Darren Sproles would have been a better pickup for them. Alright, so moving on.
Moving on.
We should just skip this guy, in my opinion, but because we love you, the people, and we want to be fair to all those poor-ass Saints fans out there.
Hey, the Lions fans were poor until this last year. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, but I mean, really, like, this is going to be the saddest year in NFL history for a team, and that team is going to be the Saints.
I do believe you're right. The player we're talking about, of course, is
Jonathan Vilma, possibly the greatest linebacker in the league right now.
That we thought was a great linebacker until we had the story of Bountygate come out.
Well, it doesn't change that how good of a linebacker he is. It just makes him an asshole.
Yeah, I guess so, but
pardon my language, but he yeah, and then he lied about it. He's trying to, you have no proof. You have no proof.
He has a full year suspension, so just let that guy go. But his stats for this last year were 54 tackles, 0 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. So not all that good of, you know.
He dropped.
Yeah, he definitely dropped in play wise and.
Yep. He was 37 the year before, and now he's 58.
Yep, 58. Yep. Okay, the next guy on our list, number 57, he rose up a couple. Well, more than a couple, but...
He's up from 73 to 57, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's a defensive end, according to NFL.com. Out of Philadelphia, Trent Cole, he had a good season, or actually a really good season if you just look at his sack numbers. Not so good in the tackles, but really good in the sack category. 44 tackles, 11 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. And he played in only 14 games, so he got injured for a little bit. He's another really good defensive end in the NFL. I think nowadays defensive ends are at a premium for that outside pass rush, you know.
Yeah, the only reason why they have yet to become the most important role on the line is because of guys like Ndamukong Suh and that guy from the Patriots. I can't think of his name. He's on the list somewhere though.
I have no clue who you're talking about.
I'll find him. You go ahead and tell some stats or something. Vince
Wilfork.
Wilfork.
There you go.
Yep. So guys like Vince Wilfork and Ndamukong Suh are the only reason why defensive end isn't the premier spot on a defensive line or defense period, in my opinion, because I think if it weren't for defensive linemen, good defensive linemen, I don't think there would be such great playmakers on cornerback, except for guys that are just naturally the greatest of all time, and that's like, the guy from the New York Jets. I can't think of his name. Too tired. 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we're sort of, actually, it's almost 3, bud.
Yeah, well, my battery's dying. We're going to have to cut this short to, we're going to stop at 50. I don't have a battery charger, so really sorry, everyone.
So we're stopping, dude?
We're going to stop at 50.
50 minutes?
No, 50th player.
Oh, okay, I was confused.
We're at Trent Cole, number 57. We're going to have to get through this quick. In the next, let's see, computer is so slow.
We're just going to skip the stats for these upcoming players then.
Alright, yep, and we'll do a quick recap next time.
Yep.
Okay, next player is Greg Jennings, wide receiver, one of the best in the league, blah, blah, blah.
Underrated.
Well, yeah.
Because in that division, he gets overlooked by Calvin. I mean, you can't really compare him to Calvin.
Yeah, he's underrated, but only by, okay, I'm kind of biased because I don't like the Packers, but okay, I'm going to put that aside for a moment, just for all of you. I think he should be late 30s. I'll say that. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to say early 40s, but yeah, I want to.
Okay, I get this next guy. The next guy is Patrick Peterson, 55, cornerback, out of LSU. He was like the number 3 pick in that last year's draft. He is a punt returner and really electric with the football in his hands. He can make interceptions. He can obviously return punts and kickoffs for touchdowns.
He can do it all.
Yep, he's basically an all-around cornerback.
Yeah, he can do it all. Like, he can do any position too, I think, if he wanted to. Yeah, just one of those great, just really great football players. I mean, when he's out there, he looks like he's a veteran. And it was his rookie year last year, so just really impressive. All right, next guy, Brian Cushing, linebacker. Really impressive guy. Breakout year for him, I think. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah, he's a captain for the Texans.
Yeah, so Tony Gonzalez is next. Brian Cushing wasn't even on the list, so that's why I think this was his breakout year. He wasn't on the list last year, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tony Gonzalez, like I said earlier, the guy I was talking about when I was comparing to Jason Witten, Tony Gonzalez is that man.
Yep, he's one of the greatest ever.
If not the greatest. It's hard, it's hard to...
it's hard to compare eras, too.
Yeah,
you can't really compare.
Yeah, so, definitely the greatest tight end of this era.
The next guy on this list, number 52, Von Miller, rookie this past season. He was amazing for that Broncos defense. He was clearly the rookie of the year on the defensive side of the ball. Well, besides Patrick, I mean, Von Miller, I compare Von Miller to like a, Brian Urlacher, actually. I think he's a really good linebacker, and he's going to be really good for years to come.
Yep, he's definitely the anchor of the Broncos defense, I think. And it's amazing because he's a rookie, and he's just so good. And man, just can't say enough about the guy. He wears glasses. I don't know. Yep. I don't know what that's doing anything, but a lot of people like to talk about it for some reason.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Next guy on the list, the last guy for tonight. Closing out.
A guy I hate, but he's so flipping good.
Yeah, he's so freaking good. He's underrated, in my opinion, as a playmaker for interceptions. I just see him make so many plays, and then on Madden he makes me so mad because he intercepts every single ball I throw it on.
I know he like jumps like 10 feet in the air.
Yeah, it's like ridiculous. It's like blitz the league. It's like impossible. Like crap that he does on Madden 10 and 11.
Yep.
And 12.
and 12. But,
Is 12 out yet? Is that next
you
game
mean
or
13? 13 is
the next one? Okay, right, yeah, and 12, yeah, right. So
12 is the one you and me have.
Yeah, so yeah, he's okay. I think he's perfect where he's at. It's his last years.
Yeah, he's on the downside of his career, you could say.
Yeah.
He has had a lot of injuries through, like, the past, like, 3 seasons. This year was, like, his first, like, legitimate, full season in a while.
Yeah, so, alright, that's it for tonight. I just, want to talk really quick about what we're going to talk about next time after we finish this. We'll probably end up, we're probably going to end up going through, making another 2 parts for this, just like we planned originally, because this is impossible to go through slow, because it's just so, great of a list.
It's so talkative. You feel like you want to give everyone their fair share of.
Yeah. So, and credit, yeah. So, anyway, next week or not next week, but next time, it'll be probably next couple days we'll try. Can't guarantee anything, because every time we guarantee, it doesn't happen. So, we're just going to say next time.
Like my computer breaks for...
Yeah, so for now, we're just going to say for next time, we'll finish the list, and also we're going to try and touch up on, we'll probably make a separate video, separate from the players, although it'll be in between. So we're not gonna finish the players before we do this one. So we're gonna do another one in between, finishing the players list. We're gonna talk about Adrian Peterson, AP from the Vikings, getting suspended.
You mean arrested? He wasn't
arrested. My bad.
Are you jumping to conclusions as a Lions fan? You're like, yes.
Okay, but anyway, just want to say real quick to all those people who are confused about that. He got in a little situation, quote unquote, with a police officer. So he didn't get arrested for resisting arrest, because that's impossible, because then how do you get arrested in the first place?
Exactly.
So he got arrested in the first place because he got in a scuffle with a police officer, and I guess they don't want to release the details of how that happened, but yeah, he got in a little thing with a police officer, and then the police officer tried to arrest him, and he resisted his arrest.
Yep.
That's what happened.
You want to plug yourself really quick?
Yep. Look me up. Follow me on Twitter. Iceman DG. Capital I, capital DG. Yep. No numbers. It's just Iceman. No, the M is lowercase. It's just capital I, Iceman, and then capital D and capital G.
Okay.
I just want to make that clear for everyone. All right. And the same thing with Facebook. Facebook.com/capital I, Iceman DG.
Yep. My Twitter is Let's Go Detroit 90. Follow me on there. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that comment tab. And I'm just gonna say something really quick. It's time. I didn't tell Dan about this, but I want to leave you with a random thought of the day. Pancakes are good. So anyways, for Dan and Justin, here at the sencast 21, taking place in Saginaw, Michigan, it's always fun to like sports. It's always fun to root for a team. It's always fun to have that passion, have that enthusiasm for a team. Always fun to cry. Always fun to cheer. Always fun to go to a game, smell the peanuts, smell the atmosphere, smell the spilt beer on the concrete outside. Just don't punch a hole in the wall like I did. This is sort of rushed, but so for both of us, for everyone that listens to the sencast, we would like to thank you.
Pancakes!
Yes, pancakes! The random word of the day is waffles. We leave you with that thought. Waffles and pancakes are good. So, we love you guys. No homo. See you later. Go blue, go green, go yellow, go brown, go white, whatever. Hello everybody, this is Justin from your favorite sencast 21 episodes. I'm just here to say follow me on Twitter. I know the cast got cut off, but follow me on Twitter. Hope you like the new intro. Please subscribe. Follow Dan at IcemanDG on Twitter, capital I, capital DG, and follow me on Twitter at Let's Go Detroit 90. We are sorry for that this cast got cut off, but Dan's laptop died, and we will be doing another cast very shortly. So thank you all for listening, and have a good day.